Do you know what this is off of? Is your ATI R9 390X running hot or have noisy squealing fans? Well, I can show you how to fix that in this video for around $40. Contact me at timscomputerfix.net to find out how you can ship me your laptop for repair. What's up, everyone? Tim again, timscomputerfix.net. I have here an ASUS STRIX. This is a R9 390X. Customer brought this desktop in that had this card in it. He says every time he fires up his VR, he gets some bad squealing or some rattling noises. I've tested that out. I've got it to repeat it. All I did was put a load on the card here in the shop, and I determined that this fan here, as you can see, the bearings are bad in it. So with the research that I've done, it is a little bit tricky you can get replacement fans, but the problem is you have to buy it. You have to buy all three fans in a kit that comes with its own wire harness, because ASUS has made it difficult, and I'll show you here in a minute. So what I've done is I've taken out all of the screws here on the bottom, the big ones that hold it down. And these cards are known for running hot, by the way. But and I just removed the bottom plate, and there we have the graphics card itself. Set that aside. I have also disconnected the cables here, and I'll come back to that in a minute. So what I have here is, and I want to show you here basically I'll try to make it a simple story, that this wiring harness, you can't just disconnect one fan and connect another fan, because the way this is all wired up and harnessed in here, they just don't make it possible. So there are kits online that you can buy, but you know, you'll have to spend the money for it, close to $100 at the time of this video, and then you'll have to wait on it and what have you. And there's been other videos about this online too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be replacing this here, all these fans, with a 120 millimeter Noctua F12 fan, and going to be using my own wiring system to power the fans. We'll figure that out when we get to it. There's several ways of doing it. I haven't figured out which way I'm going to do it yet. I'm not even sure what fan headers are available. I just know it can be done, and this is the way I'm going to go about cooling this video card. So with that being said, I am going to be removing this entire shroud from the heatsink itself. So what I'm going to go ahead and start to do is remove the screws that are holding the shroud into place. It's funny because there's one screw down here that has is covered in hot glue. So, and I'm also going to try to keep my fingers off of this area, and I'm going to try to keep this area here clean. Let's get started here. Looks like just Phillips head screws are on this, so we'll start here. We'll start right here. We'll just go down the line and start removing these screws and see where we end up. Okay, so there's two there, and then I see one more here. Just want to make sure they're all the same size. Okay, we're loose, obviously, but let's see. There's a couple more down in here. I don't know if you have to take them all off. Let me see here. That one's off. No, that one can stay. Okay. So the one here on the very end can come off. And maybe this guy here, right? And then that leaves the one that is covered in hot glue down here. There's a screw with hot glue around it. So I have scraped away the hot glue from that screw, and it's a different kind of screw in there. I think that's ASUS's kind of way of saying don't get funny and try to change this cooler out on us, or we'll know about it. But I'll show you. I'll go ahead and use this screwdriver here, and I'm going to show you the kind of bit that's on it or whatever. As soon as here in a second. Did it loosen it? Okay, it's still tight on there. Interesting. Maybe it's just the hot glue that's holding it. So what I did is I just used a pick tool like this just to kind of carefully scrape away the hot glue there. And it looks like the hot glue is actually holding on to this shroud. There we go. Just kind of split it off there, and it worked. We got it off. There we go. There's our heat sink. Here's our fan shroud. There's our hot glue area. And as you can see, the cabling actually runs up through that hot glue into that fan. So I don't know. It'd be almost impossible to reuse this same cabling and replace that one fan. There's no way. Because this is all integrated into the same cable. I mean, unless you start soldering wires and stuff like that. I mean, let's just, and then you'll spend $100 on the fans or whatever. So this cable right here is for the front display light that this has, so he'll no longer have that either. But that's okay, as long as we have the performance and the cooling is what we want. So obviously this is the side that we're going to need the fans and all to go on. So I want to protect this. I really don't want to get like dust and gunk and all that on it. So I tell you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use just some aluminum foil temporarily. Anything on there, I don't want nothing to affect the cooling. All right, so this is about where we're going to be installing our fans here. Yep, something similar to this. Right up against our fans here, right up against our heat pipes, like so. And there's going to be one. Matter of fact, yeah, maybe we could do it like this. One there. These are some really good quality fans. They're you know, for what they give you, the CFM versus the noise is the best. I mean, if you buy a cheaper fan, you're going to get, but you're going to get a lot more fan noise and maybe not the full CFMs that these provide. So maybe something like this. They do fit nicely on here, I must say. They do. They fit pretty good. And then actually they do give you, and this is what I might just use here, they give you a cable, a Y cable here that you can hook both of these fans up to, like this. So there's that, right? And that'll go into one fan header. Now the question is the fan header, right? So that's how that's going to work. Let me get my zip ties. We're going to use zip ties to hold this fan in place. This thing is pretty gnarly. Let's blow it out. I'm going to blow that out. Maybe if I go like this, maybe that's what I want to do right there. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it like that. That way the rubber part is touching the heat sink and not the actual wire. So we'll set that aside for now. Let me see where I can run these zip ties, yeah? And of course I'm going to brutally test this, temperatures and everything. So let's just zip this guy up here. Right? So zip that. Maybe I'll go through just the bottom one on this one. I'm just kind of working it out as I go, everyone. How shall we do this one? Might not need all four on this one. I don't have nothing to zip it to, really. I don't really see the need for all four of them. So maybe we'll tighten these down. They're pretty tight. That one's pretty tight. That one, they don't have to be super tight. I guess enough to keep them from rattling. But I mean, that's on there. See if I can get through. Yeah, got through that one and that one. I'm going to kind of go through the top one. So I'll give everybody a close-up here right whenever I get everything where I want it. Like so. As you can see here, I've come down through this top eyelet and came all the way through to the bottom of this pipe, and that one worked out well because there's only one pipe. When you get over here, there's two pipes. So what I've done is I've only gone through this one eyelet, and then I've come through between the two pipes here and just tightened it up. Didn't have to go all the way through to the bottom eyelet. It's just fine, it's tight. Kind of the same thing with the next one here. Just went through the top eyelet, comes down around the middle of the heat pipe there and gets tied up that way. This one comes through just the top eyelet, comes down just down to the one pipe here. The other side here, I couldn't really have nothing to put a zip tie into, so we just kind of left that one alone, but it is more than sturdy. This one goes through one bottom eyelet and then through this curved heat pipe here. So that's how I did that one. Same thing with the one next to it. One eyelet at the bottom around the curved heat pipe. So this one doesn't have one at all, as you can see. So and that's it. And I mean, this is sturdy. I mean, I'm holding it by the fans right now, and they're not budging. They're not budging at all. Alright, so we've got everything kind of prepped here. And we've got nice fresh thermal compound on the GPU. So I think we'll go ahead and maybe mount this guy on here now. And let's just get this guy centered up. This back this way. Line up all those little holes. Line them up, line them up. That looks good. Everything looks good there. I think that's it. That's it. You're not going to see any cables. All the cables are going to be against the board. So this will be the part that's showing. It does have a window on its case. Let's get this thing installed in the case and see how we're going to get the power to this bad boy. So here's the end result. Got it all sitting in the case nicely. Got the fans running. I've set the fans basically in the BIOS. I've pretty much just, you can do this any way you like, but I have in this instance, I have disconnected one of these front case fans from the motherboard and just plugged that into a Molex, which you had available already. And then I plugged these fans, see these two cables here, they run to one fan header in the back. It's kind of hard to see, it's a little dark. Into that, plugged into the same header that the front fan was plugged into. I went into the BIOS, found that header, and just cranked that up to 100%. And now these fans run at 100% at all times, which is okay. They're not very noisy, and I know he's not going to overheat. The only issue you might have with that is if somebody goes in there and messes with that BIOS, or that BIOS gets reset, but I will make the customer aware of that. So I have been benchmarking this and testing this. I have pushed this card 100%, and basically at idle, we're getting around 30 C. And from the specs that I was looking at on this card, idle usually sits around 59. So that's a definite improvement. Under load, the temperatures do jump up and get close to 90 C, but like I say, this is a known running hot card. And 90 C is not uncommon with these cards, but that's at 100% load. Whatever he's doing, even VR, is not going to push that card that high for that long. So chances are he won't even get near 90 C. But that's at 100% load for about a half an hour. Didn't downclock any. It's running really good. So yeah, that's it. I mean, that's how we do it. It's just sitting here running. It's running nicely. Fan spinning. I think this job here is good to go. I hope this helps somebody out. These fans only cost $10 a piece, for $20 a piece, I'm sorry, off of Amazon. I'll have a link down in the chat if you want to give this a try yourself. The main thing here is too, they're quiet. Quiet fans, and that's all he was worried about. All that noise, it was bad. Anyways, hope this helps somebody out, guys. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.